Let's do it.
Welcome to the Bitchin' Siblings Podcast.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to this week's Bitchin' Siblings This or That. It's Jenny and I this week.
Hi, guys. What's up?
So, we have a theme this week. Since our earlier episode was all about food, this one is about desserts.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. But before we get into what I hear, you guys, that one of our highest listened and rated episodes was our short dick man. And I really I'm starting to question some of our listeners.
No joke. That one was brought to me by a coworker, and they're like, heard someone else listening to that episode, and they were laughing their head off. And so I'm going to have to start listening. And I'm like, well, I mean, I've been telling you all along, but whatever.
Yeah. So, thanks, guys, for listening to our most risque topic. And it really wasn't even about short dick men in particular. It was just a little blurb, but now we know where all your heads are, so thanks for that insight.
And by the way, if you guys want more risque topics like that, shoot us the messages. Let us know what topics you guys want to hear us.
I have had somebody come up to me and be like, if you really want to gain more listeners, because, you know, we want to be famous. Not really, but okay. Like, maybe we should hit some of this more risque topics. However, I will still continue to emphasize no religion or politics. Risque, you give us all the topics you want, but I just don't want to piss people off.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a fun podcast, so we're going to try to leave it at that.
Yeah. All right, so desserts.
Okay.
Fudge or caramel?
Oh, grandma's fudge? Because grandma's fudge was fantastic.
You do know that her fudge was nothing special.
It was legitimately
fudge off of the back of the marshmallow fluff packaging.
Okay, so I'm going to have to make that fudge because I have tried to make a couple different kinds of fudge. So I tried making like a mint chocolate chip and I tried making like a peanut butter one. I couldn't get the consistency right. So flavor was on par, but consistency, it struggled. It either got way too hard or it was way too soft.
Okay, so
that's what she said.
That's where you're going to need to get a candy thermometer. Because I hear that is a key ingredient or key thing is making
even in fudge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you boil it too hot, then it's going to get too soft when it sets. And if it doesn't get hot enough, then it's not going to get
hard and grainy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll preface that by saying I prefer chocolate to eat, so fudge, but I prefer the flavor of caramel in chocolates, ice cream, coffee. So, like, if I'm eating it, it would be fudge.
Okay. So, this is going to be kind of a revelation for some people, and they're going to, like, disown me, and please don't disown me when I say this. I'm not a huge chocolate person.
So is my husband.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge chocolate person either. I'm legitimately not. But caramels are too chewy and they hurt my teeth. It kind of reminds me of saltwater taffy. In theory, it's a great idea, but it just, I have sensitive teeth. It hurts to chew.
I get that. That's fair.
But the flavor of caramel is preferred over fudge.
Yeah. So texture of the fudge, but the flavor of the caramel.
Yes. Absolutely. If you can make a caramel flavored fudge that had the caramel flavor, but the consistency of fudge. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll work on that. I'll work on that for Christmas.
Okay. Good to know.
All right. Snickerdoodles or chocolate chip cookies?
Not really. Oh, not really either.
You don't like my snickerdoodles better?
I love your snickerdoodles. But in general, I'm not a huge cookie person.
Okay, that's fair.
So if I had to choose one, I would prefer to be a snickerdoodle. The difference is I can only eat one snickerdoodle because of the flavor. If it's done right, like yours, one isn't enough. It's rich. I could do multiple chocolate chip cookies because most people don't do it right. So I'm going to say snickerdoodle, one, because the flavor is on par, and two, I would not eat my weight in them.
Okay, that's fair.
What about you?
I'm definitely going Snickerdoodle. I'm not a huge chocolate chip cookie fan. The only person that ever made chocolate chip cookies that worked for me, that I fucking loved, was Bill's grandma.
Oh.
Not even our grandma, because grandma didn't make chocolate chip cookies all that often.
My grandma who made the cream cheese coffee cakes, she made really good chocolate chip cookies too.
Yeah, and
They were lumpy and like big
yeah,
and thick and not more like a between a cookie and a scone texture. It was very, very interesting.
Oh.
Very good. Not super sweet.
Okay.
What did Bill's grandma do that made those ones stand out to you?
It was the texture of them. So like when they were
Mm.
like when they cooled, they weren't too crunchy and crispy, but they weren't too like soft either.
They weren't too doughy. You need
Yeah.
a little bit of that doughy, chewy, but you still need some crunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm gonna eat a chocolate chip cookie, would prefer to eat it maybe only a few minutes outside of the oven so it's still very warm. But then that's one of those very, 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 very few times we'll all ask for a glass of milk.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right,
But
next.
yeah, I would prefer your Snickerdoodles any day, every day. You sent me a tin this last year, and I was gonna say about a quarter of the Snickerdoodles you sent me were crumbs, and it didn't fucking matter. So I still ate that shit.
Snorted it right off.
Yup. Mhm.
Are you okay over there?
Yeah, I dropped some shit, and then I'm trying to not make noise, but that didn't work.
Obviously. Which by
Okay,
the
next one.
way, when Chris and I were editing, he said that it's hard to like find a quiet part in yours because you're always fucking talking.
So what you're telling me is I need to shut up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Okay. Sorry.
Totally kidding. Funfetti cake or chocolate cake?
Funfetti.
Yeah, same. Like,
My first wedding cake was a funfetti cake.
was it?
Yeah.
I legit
It
don't
was
remember anything about that.
I don't remember a lot, but I remember it was a funfetti cake with funfetti frosting.
Hey, whatever
Yeah.
works. All right, cheesecake or pound cake?
Oh. You know, I think that is 100% reliant on who's making it. Because I've had some pound cakes before that were not anything spectacular, but then I've had some pound cakes that are like to die for. And same with cheesecake. So I think it really I feel like you have to be anybody can make a cake, anybody can make cookies. They're still good. They just might not be my favorite, but I feel like something as unique as cheesecake and pound cake takes a little bit more patience,
Fair.
maybe.
That's fair.
So I think it depends on who's cooking it or who's
Okay.
baking it. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with cheesecake
Okay.
just because even the not greatest cheesecake, if you put some fruit on it, I'm happy. So
But that's why I like pound cake, because you could do chocolate, you could do fruit, you could do whipped cream, you could do it by itself.
yeah, maybe I've had less pound
Good
cakes that were
pound
good,
cake.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe
That's why I'm saying I think it really is who's making it, because I've had some pound cakes that literally were nothing to rave about, and then I've had some pound cakes. In fact, there's a bakery in Lincoln that's called the Rabbit Hole, and it had my husband and I managed to cross it one day after a concert, and it was open late because of a concert that was downtown. And I think we got like some pound cake and something else, and it was some of the best pound cake I've ever had in my entire life.
that's awesome.
But in general, I'd probably choose cheesecake, because you're right. I feel like even a crappy cheesecake can be dressed up with the right amount of either the crust can be really good or a topping or anything. Whereas pound cake, I'm not a huge fan of cake to begin with.
That's fair.
So it would have to be really, really good for it to be worth my while. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, next one: apple pie or key lime pie?
Apple pie.
Same. Key lime pie is very hit and miss for me.
Agreed.
So it's just
And I like that with apple pies, like, you can do a Dutch apple, you can do a caramel apple, you can do a regular apple, and the flavor is 100% reliant
On what kind of apple you use?
Yes. So you can make it more tart, more sweet, more subtle. I love that part about apple pie is that, and you can make an apple crisp. You can make it like it's never going to be the same. I feel like even if you had a recipe, you could use the same apples every time, but depending on the harvest or whatever, it's.
Yep.
And that's why I love it, because it's never 100%. And there was do you remember for A's birthday at Mom's house, we had that caramel apple cheesecake?
Yes.
Oh my
That was
God.
from
It was
Costco.
so, I know.
Have
And
never
I've yet
seen
to
it
find
since.
it since then. I know. So Costco, bring back your caramel apple cheesecake, because it was to die for.
Yes.
It was so good.
So good.
Mm.
All right. Next one, macaroons or cream puffs?
It depends on the flavor of macaroon.
You're so fucking weird. You're so.
Well, and the only reason why I say that is because I honestly, up until recently, never really had macaroons. But at my husband's sister's wedding, they had made homemade macaroons, and they had different flavors, and some were far superior than others. Not that they were bad, but there was just some that were like, oh, I would eat that again. Probably gonna go with cream puffs, just because I feel like you can't really fuck those up if you. Well, no, I guess you could if you don't use the right puff pastry, but I'm gonna say cream puffs.
Yeah, there was no thought about it for me.
Why?
Well, one, maybe I've never had a good macaroon, but cream puffs are that perfect balance of sweet but not too sweet.
Yes.
But that's just me.
We have this dessert at the convention center that people will order because it's just cream puffs, and they'll drizzle like a strawberry or raspberry sauce over it. Mm-hmm. And there's always leftovers because it comes in a box and they're frozen, and they just defrost them. I don't know where they get these motherfuckers from, but they're like crack.
Have you tried the ones from Costco?
I have not.
Yeah. That's where I got addicted. Grandma used to buy them.
They're like fucking crack.
Yeah.
I could eat like 7 of them, but they're so light and they're not super sweet that you don't even realize you've eaten 7 of them
exactly.
until you've already eaten 7 of them. And then you're like, fuck. Like,
there goes all of my calories for the day.
Yeah. I took my entire weight in calories already.
Yeah. All right. Funnel cake or churros?
Churros.
Oh, good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. And I love when like the little edges of the churros are a little bit crispy.
That's the only way to have them.
Yeah.
No. Funnel cake?
Too sweet.
Well, not only is it too sweet, but it might as well just be pancake or waffle batter. That's all it is deep fried with either powdered sugar or fruit or whatever. Churros, like that crunchiness, and it's thick, and it's like a pretzel and a pound cake and together
and a snickerdoodle.
And then it's deep fried and rolled in cinnamon and sugar. Some of them even put caramel on them. Oh my God.
Oh, the Costco churros, so fucking good.
I've never had one.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Next time we go to Costco, I'm gonna make sure to get one.
Yeah. Last time I went,
because I've heard about them. I've just never had one.
Yeah. Last time I went, I was asked to get some, and I got myself 2, and I got him
and
1.
Ate both.
Did you
eat all 3 on the way home?
No. I actually saved him his.
No, churros all the way every day.
Good. All right. This next one I think might be a little difficult for you because I don't think you'll like either one.
Okay.
Rice pudding.
Ew.
Or banana pudding.
Ew. Neither.
I actually just realized that you can't even have the banana pudding.
Yeah.
I always forget like how
I cannot have the banana pudding. So, I mean, if I was dying of hunger and I had to eat, obviously I would have the rice pudding. But no. Ew.
I love banana pudding.
Gross. What about you?
I love banana pudding, and especially with vanilla wafers.
No, because they get soggy.
No. You put the vanilla wafers on when you're about to eat it. Like,
no, it's gross.
No. And then, like, you actually have pieces of banana in there. And I like bananas.
No.
Fine then. Moving on.
No.
Frozen custard
kill me.
or frozen yogurt?
I actually think I like frozen custard better.
I could see why. Custard's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like
I'd never had it until I moved here, and there's a place called Culver's that's a Midwest thing. Because we always had frozen yogurt growing up. There was always like a TCBY and everything. Frozen yogurt, I'm sure, is far healthier for me. But I mean, who fucking cares when you're eating ice cream?
Absolutely.
So custard is really creamy, and it's just creamier than a soft serve. So obviously, I'm gonna go with custard. You?
I'm gonna go with custard too. I've also learned that I love custard filled donuts.
I'm not a fan.
Why?
Because honestly, to tell you the truth, when it comes to donuts, I'm only a fan of like those old fashioned, like I think they're either called old fashions or like sour cream donuts. I think
The one with the little ridge around the edge.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
those are
ones
old
I like,
fashions to me.
Old fashions, yeah,
Yeah.
where like they have like 3 ridges that you can pull off,
Yeah.
and then it leaves a little round thing. Yeah, that's my favorite. And if it's not there, I won't. I'd rather not eat the calories.
Yeah, I obviously am more of a fatty than you.
I used to like the lemon curd filled donuts, but it's a lot of sugar. And it's still good flavor. It's just a lot of sugar. And I honestly, I like donuts, but I don't need donuts, so I could pass up donuts.
I mean,
and not feel like I'm missing out.
I don't need them, but if they're there, I'm gonna eat them.
Even if they're there, if they're not the kind I like, I would no. Mm-mm.
That's
So on the first Monday of every month, so tomorrow when I go to work, every building, we have 3 buildings between our company in town. So we have like where the distro and like the old building is, where like part of the departments are, and then like my building, which is like the brand new building, and then there's another building which is where ecom is. I think it's either ecom or distro. One's in one, one's in the other, and each building gets 2 huge boxes of donuts on the first Monday of every month, and usually they'll send out an email, but by the time they send out the email, people have already hoarded the break room. So I try to be in there first thing when they deliver the boxes, because they only get like 4 of those old fashions, but they'll get like 80 of the other. So if I'm not there to get an old fashioned, I won't get a donut, because if it's not an old fashioned, it's not worth it.
That's fine. Whatever.
I'm not going to waste my calories. I'd rather drink my calories in coffee.
I guess here's the other problem. I don't fucking care. Like, I've gotten to the point where I was counting calories for a while, and then I realized that it didn't fucking matter.
I'm not counting calories.
I wasn't losing anything, no matter how fucking hard I try. I don't lose weight. It doesn't matter.
Not counting calories, I'm more of a salty than sugary person. So if I'm gonna eat something sugary, I want it to be something I like. Do you get what I'm saying?
I mean, I get it, but like, I like it. I like everything. So again, I'm fattier than you are.
Whatever.
All right, last one.
Okay.
Snow cones or Italian ice?
Again, I think that's very dependent on where you're getting it. I've had some Italian ices that are absolutely disgusting. But if you do it right, I would prefer an Italian ice over a snow cone.
Okay, I realize that I don't know what an Italian ice is because I was thinking of it in Italian soda.
No, but those are good. And I only like the Italian cream sodas, not the regular sodas. But
okay, so what is an Italian ice? How is it different than a snow cone?
It's okay. So it is like it's only if I'm understanding it correctly, it's only like a lemon flavor, but it's like almost like a limoncello flavor.
Okay.
And so it's very refreshing, but it's not like overly sweet. And the ice is a lot finer.
Okay.
Than what you might find in a snow cone, because again, depending on where you're getting a snow cone, some people call shaved ice snow cones, and it's like almost like pellets of ice, and that's, you know what I mean. So Italian ices are always the same for me, is it's always the same type of ice, you know, whereas with a snow cone, it could be shaved ice, it could be a snow cone, it could be a whatever else you want to call it, and depending on where you're getting it will depend on the consistency of the ice.
Okay.
Plus, an Italian ice to me is like I said, it's very much like a limoncello flavor. So it's a very subtle, sweet, but like understatedly sweet. It's consistent every time. But that's just me.
Okay, so
Although I do like that you can get different flavors of tropical, like snow cones and stuff.
okay, so with that explanation, to me, it doesn't sound really any different, other than like the ice consistency. So I'm gonna
And
go
the flavors, because as far as as far as I know, Italian ice only comes in one flavor.
see
That I could be wrong.
and based on that, I'm gonna go with snow cone because I'd rather have a choice. Because I'm gonna be in a different mood every time.
I can appreciate that. My problem is the place here in town that does them. They're way too sweet, and
So they probably put way too much syrup.
yes, they have the right consistency of ice. It's great. I love it. It's just way too sweet. And I don't know. So
I can appreciate that.
I feel like it's very dependent on where you're at, who's doing it, the consistency of the ice, the flavors, the options. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those ones that I really feel like it depends on where I'm at.
That's fair. I mean, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
Well, reminder, guys, send us those suggestions on the risque topics you'd like to hear, or just random this and that's. So Ginny and Amy podcast at gmail.com. That's GINNYANDAMY podcast at gmail.com.
You can also reach us on Instagram at Bitchin' Siblings Podcast. Amy, where else can they find us?
You can also call or text us at 785-538-9128. That's 785-538-9128.
Leave us those voicemails, guys. Tell us just how wrong we are with our opinions, because I'm sure I'm going to get a shit ton of backlash about this rice pudding or banana pudding shit. But whatever.
Actually, if anything, I think people will more likely tell you you're wrong about what an Italian ice is. And I'd like to know.
That too.
I would love to know.
That too. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, bye, guys.
Have a great night.